This week, on this edition of The Number, we go in search of an iconic 1950s cruiser, but it's not what you think. My name is Dennis David, and I own Vintage Motor Car Enterprises. I appraise cars. Sometimes they're big, and sometimes they're small, but everyone who calls is always looking for the same thing. They want to know what they have, and they want to know what it's worth. In other words, they're looking for one thing, and that's the number. Appraising cars is a fairly exact science in a sense, as you have to account for the car's condition, rarity, provenance, and also current market trends. I'm really excited about today's car because it's just not a car that you see every day. And here comes our client now. He's driving a 1957 Chevy 210 station wagon. Now, Chevy made a lot of cars in 1957, over 1.5 million, and they only outsold Ford by about a little over 100 cars. This car is really amazing, but it's really got one nice trick up its sleeve. Let's take a look at it. Dennis, good to see you. How are you? Car looks great. So, Jay, what can you tell me about this car?
Well, the gentleman I purchased the car from needs mechanical upgrades for safety reasons. I just want to know if this is going to detract from the value of the car or add to it.
All right, Jay, so we're going to take a look at a few things here. You can walk around with me and answer any questions, okay?
Sounds good.
The first thing I start with when inspecting a car is how all the doors open and shut. We look for body seams, make sure they're in correct alignment. I also check everything around the car mechanically and make sure it's good. Go around the car with a magnet. And also the engine. The beauty of this car is the engine is its original 6-cylinder, which is really cool. Some modifications to the engine here. Can you tell me what's going on here?
Well, for the motor itself, the motor was converted over to alternator versus generator.
Okay.
It also has a late model GM 605 steering box, which is out of a 70s style automobile. Could have been a Rolls Cutlass, could have been a Chevelle. And the vehicle is equipped with power disc brakes in the front.
So stopping's pretty good with it?
Stops on a dime.
Okay, great.
Very good for safety.
Right. So Jay's running some non-original equipment here in the sense of an upgraded steering box, disc brakes, and radial tires. But really, these are things that don't detract from a car's value unless it's on a concours field. These are basically things that anybody would want to make on their collector car. All right, go ahead, start it up. Give us some gas. Looks good, thanks. So Jay, your gauges, all of them working?
All of them working.
Speedo looks good?
Yes, it does.
Well, Jay, this looks like a really nice, solid car. Let me get all the information together, get everything back to the office, and we'll give you a call. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. So sometimes when I'm working, I like to take a certain car out to go get lunch or something like that. Today I'm going to take the Crosley. The Crosley is a wonderful car. I found it on the side of someone's garage a few years ago. Did a lot of work to it, fixed it up. The thing about it is it's a fun car, it's a wonderful car to drive around, and it's a very reliable car. It never lets me down. Until today. Uh-oh. I don't know. I was just driving along. It was running good, and all of a sudden it just came to a stop.
Here's your problem. Your coil wire fell off.
Where?
Right here. All right, let me plug this back in. All right, give it a try now.
Dennis is a good friend of mine. He is an awesome writer and a good appraiser, but when it comes to mechanics, he's a little deficient. So now that we're back in the office, it's time to run the numbers and crunch this thing and see what it's worth. So the data comes from auction reports, which I've already done some research on. I also take a look at the production figures for the car. Of course, it's a 57 Chevy. They made a lot of them. What is interesting about this car is it is kind of an unmolested 57 Chevy wagon. A couple of modifications, but it is really, really cool with some of the accessories that he has. And this thing is going to be a big hit at the car shows. He was looking for was an insured value for this car, and I think we've got an accurate number there, and I was going to give him a call and tell him what the news is. Yeah, Jay, it's Dennis. How you doing? So, hey, looking over the numbers at the car here, the auction reports are a little difficult on a 6-cylinder car like that, but we were able to find a few, and I think your number there, your proper insured value should be about $24,000. Okay. All right, I'll get the report out to you today. Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, that was a really interesting car to do. It's not very often you see a 57 Chevy station wagon with its 6-cylinder engine. I thought the car was really interesting. It was a lot of fun to look at, a lot of fun to ride around in, and I think he's got a great car there. We hope you enjoyed looking at this car as well, and we'll see you next week on another episode of The Number.